I'm Nate, and today let's look at The Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 6, Guns for Hire. In this episode, Djarin, Katan, and Grogu head to Plaisir 15 to recruit Bo's former Mandalorian squad. Before they can meet with Axe Woves and the squad, though, they must complete a task assigned to them by the local Monarch. Written by Jon Favreau, Episode 6 was released on April 5th, 2023 on Disney+. The episode starts on board a Quarren ship where the ship's commander, Captain Shuggoth, has taken the son of a Mon Calamari viceroy as a lover. Axe Woves and his band of Mandalorians show up to retrieve the Mon Calamari boy as part of a contract job. The sequence comes across as a bit awkward, but its point is to show what Axe has been up to. He and his band of Night Owls have been using Moff Gideon's ship to run a guns-for-hire business, and they seem to be doing quite well for themselves. The love affair between the Quarren captain and Mon Calamari boy is rather cartoonish, and it shows a leader who put her crew in danger for a fling. She quickly realizes her mistake and lets the Mandalorians take the boy back to his parents. I couldn't tell if the idea for this was just plain hokey or well crafted. The boy seems clingy and immature, lacking in any kind of self-respect and masculinity. But then we meet the Duchess of Plaisir 15 and her husband, Captain Bombardier. If we thought the love between the Quarren captain and the Mon Calamari boy was fishy, the love between the Duchess and her husband is comical. It seems that the short-lived love affair between the Mon Calamari and Quarren is somewhat of a setup for what we encounter on Plaisir 15. Din and Bo head to Plaisir 15 to find Axe Woves and the rest of Bo's former army to convince them to join them and the other Mandalorians from the covert in retaking Mandalore. But before they can even talk to Axe, Din and Bo are brought to the Duchess, who has a job for them. If they accomplish the task, then they will be allowed to meet with Axe and the other Mandalorians. The scene in which Din and Bo find the Duchess, Captain Bombardier, and their guests is odd to say the least. The party guests imbibe a refreshment through tubes from a container holding some kind of waterborne animal. Captain Bombardier asks if Din and Bo would like to join them for some secretions, which intimates that the beverage everyone is drinking is basically the dirty toilet water that the animal relieves itself in. There doesn't appear to be a general theme to the episode, but it does seem that it is trying to give the audience the impression that everything that can be absurd is absurd. From this we can see that there is no such thing as a utopic society. There can only be an appearance of utopia. Underneath it is a seedy world covered up by a society's desire to live as if everything is, in fact, perfect. It's interesting that Plaisir 15 has banned all weapons from the city, only to be held hostage by an enemy that requires weapons to defeat it. They can't break their own rules, because that would acknowledge the fantasy world they live in is a lie. So the captain and Duchess find a loophole. Din and Bo are Mandalorians, and weapons are a part of the Mandalorian culture, so it would be rude to disallow Din and Bo from carrying their weapons. I find it interesting that the captain and Duchess call it culture and not religion. This episode is practically an indictment on Hollywood culture, which is so wrapped up in its perfect self-image that any inkling of its flawed underground must be hidden at all costs. Religion at its very core is the acceptance of one's flaws and failings. It causes us to seek a higher power that is flawless in order to find joy amidst a broken world. By calling Din and Bo's weapons implements of religion, the captain and Duchess would be opening the door to and accepting the thought that maybe their world is not perfect and never will be. Din and Bo's task is to find the source of the droid malfunctions that have been happening around the city. What precedes is a crime story in the flavor of sci-fi authors Philip K. Dick and Isaac Asimov, crossed with the cyberpunk genre. In the end, they solve the issue and bring the culprit to justice. With that being said, we get a cameo from Christopher Lloyd of Back to the Future fame. Lloyd is from a short list of actors who have shown their faces in both the Star Wars and Star Trek franchises. When Din and Bo meet with Axe and the others, Bo challenges Axe to a fight for leadership. After Bo beats Axe, he reminds her that it means nothing, as neither one of them had the Darksaber, to which Din pulls out the Darksaber and tells the group that it was taken from him by the beast on Mandalore, and Bo came to his rescue, killing the beast with the Darksaber, so it is rightly hers. Axe and the others agree, and we end with Bo igniting the Darksaber. Overall, I can see why this episode had so many people scratching their heads. The cameos by Jack Black and Lizzo seemed like an odd fit for Star Wars, as did the party scene. The crime story did not seem to have any meaningful contribution to the overall narrative of the season, except to act as the key to the door in which Din and Bo had to go through to recruit more Mandalorians. Despite this, I felt the episode was still enjoyable. it was interesting to see Din and Bo solve a problem together. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. Thanks for watching, and if you like the content and a deeper discussion into the themes found in Star Wars, please hit the like button and subscribe to keep me in your feed.